Go ahead, call the meeting to order. Um,
I'm JJ Duran.
Hey, I'm Nathan Hayner.
Ian Holsworth.
and or
Ryan.
introduce yourself. Sit over here. Introduce yourself.
Huh? Oh, I'm Brian Hammond. So, resident of Scappoose for like 23 years now. Out with the community club. I work on bike trails out there, Rocky Point, with North Trail Alliance, and I do a lot of outdoor activities that are around. So mushroom hunting, which is coming up soon. So
Okay. Anybody else want to a little bit about themselves?
Yeah, well, I'm new and I'm happy to share anything I can. So I've lived in Scappoose. My wife bought our house 9 years ago now, and love it out here. I got 2 little kids, and just I've played sports my whole life and really love parks and spent a lot of time in them growing up. And it's just kind of a passion of mine. I'd love to be or contribute however I can, and I can. So I'm excited about it.
Active with golf, tennis, football, bike riding, and anybody wants to do it. Wednesday, well, other project. Anybody else?
Been here for a couple years, fairly new to the committee, so I'm still kind of getting the lay of land as well. But yeah, I work in Parks and Rec, and so I have a maintenance background and I've been in sales and recreation.
my name's Ian. I've been on this committee just about a year now, November or something last year. 11-year resident of Scappoose, kids, and live on a little farm. And I'm a landscape architect, so here to buy my trade to everyone out.
I'm JJ Duran. I'm a founding member of the Parks Committee. It's been a long time. Since 2015? Long time. Anyway, I'm vice chair. I have gotten a number of great things accomplished for the city. Helped do the marketing for the 3-cent fuel tax that now is paving streets and sidewalks, and also negotiate with Tesla to get Tesla superchargers put in over here by the library, along with a couple of other chargers, with an immense amount of help from Michael Sykes. That was 3 years of my life to do that. And then I used to own radio stations and was on the air for a long time. So I do free movie nights in August, every Friday in August. And yeah, you always see me be pretty silly then. Yeah, it's pretty fun. And Brian helps with that too. So
Michael Sykes, and I actually was privileged to be in city manager of this city for about 5 years, half years, and of my course I've managed in cities and have always had a really two path. Well, to me, it's all about community livability, and I think good healthy parks is a really critical part of that. Good healthy economy, and so I've always kind of had a passion for both those particular. But really had to be here and be impressed with our staff. I had the chance to work with Dave since he's been when he started, and it's he transformed our parks. Anyway, this group has a great opportunity to take the system to the next level, which is, I think, really exciting. We just finished our master plan. That was a really good success. So, the things that, um, I'm jumping ahead, so I'm gonna stop. But anyway, yeah, it's really, great to be here, and I'm good to be the chair of this committee, and uh, Sarah did a really good job, and we'll just try to keep moving forward. So we have our minutes for August 17th. Has everyone had an opportunity to look at those, and any comments, changes, motions to approve?
You take a look at those, Brian, or?
Been a while, I haven't seen anything.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. In your experience, really. No, do you have any questions about the minutes? Time to read them?
No, I already read it.
Are you good, Brian?
Do we have a motion to approve?
Should-
We got a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Brian?
Yep.
Question? And all those in favor of the motion to approve signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries unanimously. Okay. Moving on. Old business. Wait, we got public comment. I didn't want to skip that. See anyone, so. Anybody online that has a public comment they want to share? All right, we'll move on to old business. And we have staff update this time.
I can give you guys a quick update on a few things. So this past week, we installed all the security cameras in all of the parks now. We can monitor incidences that may come up and try to help figure out who did it. We're hoping just having their presence is gonna be a detour to some of the crime and things, so, we're excited about that. We've been working over the last month to do some brush removal at Chapman Landing. You can now walk pretty much the entire perimeter of the lower portion. Creating some picnic areas down there. Next year, we'll have some tables down in the lower portion of that for people to really enjoy. And we also cleaned up where the old gate by the bridge is and created some parking along the shoulder. Some continued enhancement there. We've been working with Scappoose Bay Watershed, Lower Columbia Estuary to do some creek enhancement and cleanup along Veterans Park. Project that was done there, and then we're in coordination right now with the Reach F, which will be the same thing along the creek on the Grabhorn parcel. And then we are working to get some scopes put together right now for the design of the Grabhorn Park. Everything in line with what you all have seen. We're gonna take that to the next level and start actually getting design work done and calculating the cuts and fills and utilities and whatnot. And then working with the community club to start planning for Christmas decorations in Heritage Park and along at the two ends where the welcome signs are and the totem pole down there. We're working to figure out what's gonna go in there. Really about it. Other than that, we've just been doing maintenance projects. We're looking at some more irrigation enhancements here in Heritage. There's a few spots that still aren't watering, so we're gonna be adding some plumbing there for that. About it.
And I've got one.
It's great.
Go ahead.
Anything else?
Yeah.
Isaac has that he wants to share? AJ, you want to?
Yeah, I just want to give a quick update. So we did our movies in the park. I guess which movie did you go to?
I went to Top Gun.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, it was good.
It's a good one. Yeah. So, fabulous success. Thank you so much, Dave. He got us out of a couple of pickles. The first week, we had a light in the gazebo that wouldn't go off, so couldn't run the movie until that was done. And so we got that resolved, and he did a great job because we had a lot of people there. Um, the police did a great job doing the burgers and hot dogs, and I think Community Club made a little bit of money on that one. So and they've been sticking with us since the very beginning. So it's about time they start making some dough. But yeah, so hundreds of people showed up and people had a great time. And yeah, it's been hugely successful. And we do it on a budget of like $6,000. And that includes the $2,500 we have to pay for the film rights. So you actually have to pay a fee to run those movies unless you want to go to jail. And then also we had grants. We had a great grant from Columbia River PUD, the Columbia Arts Commission, and then a number of sponsors that helped make it possible. And Scappoose chipped in. I'm hoping $1,700 because at the last minute we decided to do a trash can painting contest, which also went really well. The city Scappoose is paying for that, and that was just paying for the cans. And then I donated a massive amount of paint, and no kids ingested paint, so it was a win.
Any other?
I have two more things if nobody else. The trash cans, I want to say, we finally have possession of those at Public Works. Is there an intended use that you guys had provision?
So we still have to clear coat them. So they're
That's done.
oh,
Jeff
you're all
said he did it.
okay. Then Jeff. Okay, well, Jeff doesn't always tell me everything.
And he said he did do that.
Great. So that's done. The challenge with Scappoose is that we don't have an arts budget. Like in the city of St. Helens, I was an arts commissioner there. They actually devote 1% of all their tax dollars to the arts, and we don't have that. So I just figured doing the trash can painting was a way to just get some artistic expression in our parks and in our community, and people had a blast with it. We thought we are going to do it for like the whole 4 weeks, and like people mobbed us and just kind of took it over, and we got it done in 1 week. So
My intent then is that during special events is when we're gonna break those out. When we
yeah.
Need for more cans.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's for. You guys do whatever you want with it.
And the other thing I did want to mention, Charlotte, who's online, will be taking Isaac's place on this committee, staff representation, self moving forward. In the next meeting or two, you'll probably see Isaac step away and she'll step in. Just a heads up.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Thank you. And Isaac, thank you for your service. Great job for us. Anybody got anything else they want to add real quick before we get to the next item?
I think we should at least welcome Charlotte. So she's on online there. Charlotte, really excited to have you here. I've talked to her a bunch regarding different things, but
Yeah, and we'll see you next month.
Yeah, thank you. I'm sorry I couldn't be here. I'm off sick today, but I'll be there next month.
Okay, we'll save a seat for you. All right, the next item we have is goal review and SWOT analysis. Kind of try and establish our goals for next year. I was talking to Isaac when I came in. He was saying that concerned about attendance tonight. Are we? Paul couldn't make it.
Paul, and we're also missing Jeanette, who's the council liaison. I think we could probably kind of review the goals. There's a lot of new members here who might not understanding what the goal setting process is and how that works, why it's important, to kind of give the new members kind of an idea of what we're going to be doing and what was done, so that in the next meeting maybe we can do that SWOC, and it can be a really productive activity if you want.
You think we can do that and next meeting and meet your deadlines?
Yeah, I think we can. Yeah. It usually goes pretty quickly. I think that if we pre-review the process, I think that you know, you and JJ have been through this a couple of times, Paul's been through it a couple of times. That's been through it a bit. I think if we preview it so that, you know, the three new members know what kind of to expect, I think we can just jump right in and run into the SWAT.
Okay, so you, comments from the committee, are you okay if we hold off on that for another month?
So what have we got on the agenda for next month that might conflict with that?
Potentially Casey Garrett might be coming to talk about signage. You know, that project's been in process for a while. I'm not sure if he's gonna be able to make it or not, or if he's gonna bring any materials. I think that, we might possibly remotely maybe have some work on the master plan, to start looking at reviewing, the documents. But that might be pushed into November. So I think we're pretty safe if we want to push the whole activity out.
So are all of you familiar with the SWAT process?
No.
Basically, it's something that we started in Scappoose about 8 years ago, and it's something I've done actually all my career. I find, and I think the city has found it to be a really critical way to try and really these set goals that are embraced by their committee members, council, and everybody. And it's a process that gives everybody a voice, and it works really well. I remember the first time we ever did a SWAT here. We didn't have a park committee, and one of their objectives for the city was to create that and an economic development committee, and those have both been really valuable for the committee. And basically, the way the process works is that we'll go through this process where we talk about what are the strengths of, you know, the heart of a strategic plan is a SWOT analysis, and SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Basically, what you do is you go through a process where everybody can throw out ideas, and you can throw them on the board. You know, what are the strengths of our community as far as parks go? What are our weaknesses? It helps us identify things that we think that are lacking that we might want to address, and then now we talk about what are the opportunities that we have, what are the things that we can do as a committee or as a city can you know, can kind of enhance mission, which is really to try and build. Then we talk about the threats, and I think all of us kind of have a good idea what those are. And then at the end of the process, we will identify what are the strengths, the greatest weaknesses and opportunities. And then that will, as a group, identify what we think are the goals that we should put forth to the city council to work on, because that's really what happens is our recommendations go to the council, and normally they just embrace them or add them as part of their goals. What that does is it gives Dave and his staff marching orders. So these are the goals for the Parks Department, and then we're able to shepherd those into reality, recognizing that we're not going to do a lot of the hands-on wide oversight and feedbacks. That makes sense?
Does,
Well,
so would we,
Weakness,
opportunity
right?
opportunity,
and threats.
threats.
So would we be able to do that to a certain level here tonight and then maybe go more in depth at the next meeting? I think that would be valuable. Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm not saying that he wouldn't be involved. I'm just saying that we would start the process and get initial feedback. And then at the next meeting, engage Paul in that. And so it looks like we've got other things coming on from the next meeting. So that would be a way to not have us here until 9 o'clock. That'd be great.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think we should do it.
Out there.
So you guys want to throw some stuff on the board, bring it
Yeah.
back in the next meeting, and then have Paul, we can add
Absolutely.
ideas, and then maybe put on them at that time, and then establish our goals at that point. Maybe not establish our goals tonight, but go through the SWOT analysis and think about the opportunities. That would work, don't you think?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, then let's, game, if your guys are game.
Yeah, let's do it.
So what we do, I guess a couple ground rules. We'll do is we'll start with strengths, and I need a scribe that's up on the board that's going to write down our strengths as they are identified. I imagine we can put all of them on the whiteboard, right? Uh, yeah, well, the key is at the end of the exercise, we're gonna, well, yeah, we're gonna vote on them tonight. Well, should we vote on?
Well, I think we should discuss them tonight, get feedback, and then at the next meeting, and then send that information to Paul and whoever else is missing, and that way they can kind of review it and maybe through email, send us information, and then at the next meeting, vote on it.
Okay.
So are you going to set up a whiteboard on the screen there,
Well,
Isaac, or?
if you got a pen, I'll just go back there and do it. I have really lousy handwriting, but you know what?
Great.
I'm doing it. Okay,
Then you're going to need a microphone over there. Oh, you got your,
got one.
perfect.
I'm ready.
You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You want some help moving that out?
Oh, I got it.
Okay.
This is something I did in Forest Grove. It was really helpful. I mean, we did it with all our departments. We had a police department, fire department, Warren Light, and parks, and the community in general. And people really enjoyed it because it really, and especially employees and council, committees, like they owned, they had ownership and their voices being and listened to. So.
So it should help with.
Yes.
You see that, Brian?
I'd like to start and kind of ask Dave and Isaac, what do you perceive this is the mission of this committee to be as far as?
Yes, figure out. I mean, that's the committee's vision. I was just reading through the goals that are existing. I don't know if you want to align things with that a little bit.
Nope.
I mean, I don't know,
I want it to be original.
over.
Oh my God. Really funny. These are some of the goals that the city came up with 4 years ago.
Wow.
Done in permanent marker.
I don't know. That's my handwriting.
Wow.
So, pretty sloppy. Yeah, that's what you're. Big hard, developable affordable housing plan. Signage, city facilities, annual meeting with. Anyway, promote community events. Work the senior center, which. Okay, that's fish all by itself.
Anyways, I'm not dodging your bullet, but I think the
Well,
vision of the committee and what this group wants to accomplish isn't. As you mentioned earlier, it does give us a roadmap moving forward on projects to be identifying and budgeting for it. And the low hanging fruit projects that the committee has always identified, try to jump on those right away. And that can be as quick as next week. I mean, if I hear input from the committee that is something that is extremely easy to do, jump on that and get it done. Okay. Bigger projects obviously need to be planned and budgeted for, so there were having goals that are both long-term. Us, so.
But going up to 1,000-foot level, I think that, because all of us are here is, it's just, that really is a, and kind of why we're here is,
Totally, yeah.
so as far as Scappoose Park, what do you think the strengths we have right now? And then
I think one of the big strengths right now is momentum that the Brown Zellerbach Trail has, and the build out of that.
momentum or no future?
I think the present part of the trail is great, and the momentum that's happened over the last half a decade should continue. Yes.
Well, I think there's a lot of really cool spaces that we have in Scappoose that nice to look at, really good spots. You like the CZ Trail or even the waterfront we have. And so I think we got good spaces. I think we got good spots, good opportunity for growth. I think we got good real estate. Yeah, I think we got good locations to really turn into something special. Yeah, I think we own good property that's unique and beautiful, and that we can. Yeah, I think so. I think.
Chapman Landing. I am a big advocate of that. I've been working on that for years.
Yeah.
And, you know, Dave has done a tremendous amount of cleanup because it was a hot mess when the city took it over. But, you know, there needs to be more done. You know, it's interesting with Sovies Island being right across the way. It is the only waterfront in the city of Scappoose. And it really needs to be highlighted with all the natural beauty that happens there.
Definitely, our parks are pretty well maintained and kept up. They're clean and not a ton of graffiti all over the place. They're fighting.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say that too. I think we do a really
Good job, Dave.
It's not, hey, that's the staff. Yeah. Who says a very dedicated staff?
I'm gonna put a third on that. I think you're doing a great job with the parks, and utilization of the parks is one thing I'm concerned about. Veterans is heavily used. Your Heritage Park program, obviously the movie thing's gone really well for you.
But a lot of people.
So the two strengths I would go with is your program that's got going, Dave. Let's go with, I'm kind of a guy, AJ's program.
The purposes of these, you can be specific, or you could just say general activity, or, you know, like recreational activities, something like that, just
Recreational
throwing that dynamic out of these. That way it makes it a little more encompassing.
How about
Recreate, yeah. Recreation is what I'm all about.
community events?
Activities.
I mean, you can throw the Run with Neil in there. You can throw the Adventure Fest. I just think community events could capture it all, unless we want to get really specific on
So
specific events.
Usually it's a strength.
I just think that each park has their own unique thing that you can do at each park and everything. They're not any of them have like the same thing, you know, maybe besides, Conway and Miller have the basketball, but you gotta go this park for this event, you gotta go this one for this event. So it's a good diversity of of activities you can do, so. Yep. Yeah. I would say that.
I think we do, I think the park system has a pretty good strength in youth sports. I do recognize some shortfalls, but I think overall the parks support our youth pretty well.
I'm gonna pass. I think he kind of hit all the ones that I had. There.
Well, I think the other strength is that there's a lot of opportunity for the city Scappoose to do more. I think that's a real strength. I mean, we're a small town, it's going to grow more, and doing this work now allows us to build on that. Um, opportunities. Opportunities for park growth.
I think you might have done a better job of saying what I was trying to communicate. I think
I'll give him the
No, you don't need to give me any. I totally agree with you. I agree with you. I think we do have a lot of opportunity. I think that.
I think that was built a lot by you, JJ, and the members of the committee and everybody. That was built through all these community events that have been put on. Build that, again, the word momentum or community involvement. There is a lot of opportunities to continue to grow.
Mhm.
I think we do pretty well with partnerships and collaboration, like Scappoose Shed and grant programs.
Well, the library is also
Yeah.
a really great partner.
I'm not sure I have another one.
Yeah. Maybe getting the community involved, like doing the solve cleanups and the movies in the park, you know. Yeah.
I think we do a good job with grass. Grass, lawn space. I think the grass is well maintained, but I think we have a lot of it. That's a positive.
A lot of green space, maybe.
No, grass.
Specifically.
Just lawn.
On space, yes.
Good. Lawn's in really good shape. Very good turf.
I think we have a good playground system.
Making him bend down now. I know you can. Jeff is amazing. He really makes my stuff easy. Yeah, we can use that word.
My number one weakness is the recreational calendar. Pretty much birthday party signed up in the park or maybe a reunion. Very little under system compared to like St. Helens. Guess the opportunities for people to use the park and actually scheduled to use the park is, I did research on it. There was only 5 events for the whole year,
For all the parks?
all the parks.
Wow.
Recreation scheduling,
Recreation lack.
lack of it.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Why would you need the schedule? Other than like
Because
youth
there's
sports, youth
programs
field.
that we don't do here that, compared to, if you look at rec programs, activities.
Okay, so you're meaning,
School activities, weekend activities. Our schedule is full of different types of activities. We've got summer camps all year, all summer long.
yeah, so you're talking about the
Yeah.
programming provided by either volunteers
Usage of the parks.
or the park system or the city itself providing programs.
Right.
So
Talking
that's a
about
definite weakness.
usage
We don't
of-
have programs.
Yeah, we don't have programs.
Yes. All right, I just need clarification because I didn't know like there was picnic shelters that can be
Rented.
scheduled
I
to
was
be-
just mind boggled when I looked at the calendar for parks. Like a couple birthday parties and a reunion, graduation party or something. There was nothing scheduled. That was for the whole year.
Right. Stuff.
We got more going on than that. I mean, we got overwhelming amount of churches, activity at churches, but that's totally separate from Parks and Rec.
Right.
I think a weakness is quantity of parks slash location. And double those up. Areas of Scappoose that are maybe less served than underserved areas of the community. Works too.
He's transcribing as they're talking. That's good. No, there's more. Oh, no. Well, I'll just do one and maybe we'll go around again. Lack of strategic partnerships, for, community building as well as financial resources. We need money. Lack of money. We need the money. Money.
Well, I got courts down. I don't have a size basketball court. I played a ton of basketball growing up. And that's one of the things I did a lot in the community growing up in Portland. Kind of people go to the park and play basketball, pick up games. Stuff. I know some of this stuff's on the master plan. Basketball, I mean, pickleball is a huge one all over Portland and everywhere. And I know
Yeah, I was
in there, but
I agree. I was gonna say court sports.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's a
Yep.
good way to put it.
Absolutely. Yeah, court sports,
sports.
lack thereof.
Pretty fun community events. I mean, I play basketball 3 to 4 times a week and it's fun to play because Oh, it looks good. Looks great.
I'll continue to go. I think we have a weakness in our offerings for teens
For
and
teens
our
or
offerings
teens?
for elderly.
Oh, okay.
Teens and elderly. Don't not lumped into the same category.
Lack of strategic partnerships.
I don't know this, but I think in connectivity between the parks, like entrance that can commonly go around it. We were talking about some of their trail systems to connect all of them. So, yeah.
We need to, I think another element is we have a lack of climate resilience regarding our parks. Dave has addressed doing trees, but with El Nino starting up right now, I'm a bit of a meteorology nut. And having the warmest waters off the Pacific coast in Astoria in recorded history, that lack of addressing climate change and especially the hot summers is really concerning. Don't ask me to
That's
spell it.
me. Yeah, I'm the
I don't think it's a Z. RES.
Thank you. You went to college. Yeah.
That's a big one.
It'd be great to have a Parks and Rec district where we actually had, like St. Helens, that's why they have what they have. Well,
Their recreation programs are totally separate.
correct, but it's taxable and everything else, so
That's
that's
where they get to actually.
right. Right. Yes. Lack of staff, that goes right there, yep. What he's got. It's a
I don't
lot.
think we can pile any more on Dave.
You know, we'll take it. No, the reality of that though, the only way that we can maintain the parks that we are is we have to pull staff during,
Really?
it's an all hands on deck. There is no way with 1.5 parks bodies.
Right.
150 acres. We shut down every other department for 2 months out of the year, try to squeeze in park maintenance and then do a little bit of street work. I mean, they're scrambling right now before the rains hit this week.
Right.
The last minute street project. Have to be very creative in how we get everything done. Definitely.
Well, I would say another weakness potentially could be a lack of identity. When I say that, Scappoose, in my experience, having done marketing my whole life, lacks an identity or a, I don't know, a mission for parks.
I think that the branding process RFP is getting close to being complete. In terms of a component that specifically tries to identify a brand for each department, I don't think that's part of that. The brand is really citywide brand.
Right.
Our individual departments don't have separate identities except the police department.
But I think that lack of overall branding is a weakness for parks. Hmm.
Are you thinking like when you go to each individual park, the signage doesn't look the same?
No, not so much that. It's, you know, it's kind of like for me in my businesses, it's like I create worlds, but it's like I have to have a point of reference of what that world is supposed to be and who I'm targeting and what's the point. And so Scappoose really doesn't have that. I think in having that, that would assist parks a great deal.
I have a few more. I don't think we're leveraging our waterfront, the North and South Scappoose Creeks. Well, I know there's a lot of good stuff in the hopper. But currently, at this moment in time, I think it's a weakness. No, there's no place to look at it. There's and I also think our place utilization of public art is a
Yes. I think, uh, like you were mentioning, I mean, I think the other issue is a lack of connecting trails. And I know that's in the works, but that is a real problem. You know, people are using trails more than ever. It's like during the pandemic, it actually went up like what, 200% is what they estimate. I mean, the national parks are peaked out. I mean, the CZ Trail, heading to Chapman, it blew my mind how many people are using that trail. And we need more connectivity. And I also think another weakness is effective bike trails, you know, places for people to cycle and feel safe. You've got the CZ Trail, but you know, Highway 30 is a little dicey. So having more places for people to do off-road biking would be great.
that was my last one too.
There we go.
So you're not looking for like inner city connectivity for.
I
bike
think
lanes,
interci-
or just
Is that a park? I guess the question is that a park thing? Yes, I would love to see inner city parking.
It's definitely piggybacks with transportation.
Yeah, they're actually, I mean, there are several corridors that are identified in the city's TSP. It's just a matter of funding.
Right.
Those
Right.
roads and all the.
Right.
One day I'll get marked
Yeah,
off of the
board, it's
weakness
on
and
the
put into
website.
the strength board, right?
Yeah.
That if you ever have some time to read.
That kind of falls along when I was talking about the momentum of the Crown Z, the momentum of biking, walking, and having those pedestrian connections going, enhance those connections, get into off of Crown Z into downtown or off of Crown Z into the side of town.
And I also think, you know, the other thing's interesting too. So, and I know this because I was working with Jeff at the library. So they're working with, I don't know if it's the state of Oregon or the US government, but in creating more walkability with citizens. The city of Scappoose has a massively big problem with obesity and people not exercising. So having accessible hiking and places where people can do something as simple as walking, more of that would be good. Yes, okay.
A question about connecting. Got Crown Z connects to Chapman, Commerce, Tri-Track, Miller, basically. Is there any connection from Crown Z that could come over to Grabhorn?
Exactly what
Yeah,
we're
but are
talking
you envisioning like from Scappoose Fredonia Highway area across?
Well, wherever Crown Z goes, could cut across and Grabhorn. West Lane. Yeah. West Lane connects out to Highway 30, past that substation, back to Columbia. But on the other side of Highway 30, is there any way to connect Apple?
Yes and no. With development, yes. Would need to cross at the Highway 30 intersection with Scappoose. Fredonia. You could go along the highway and transfer down to First Street and work your way through Smith Road. At some point where happens, there's one little parcel that hasn't been developed on Manor Drive that could cut you through on the west side, get you onto Wheeler and into Grabhorn that direction.
Yeah,
Those are really the only two routes at this.
I knew it'd be difficult, but there's 4 parks on one side of 30 and none on the other.
Highway 30 for a short span past the fire station and
Right.
I think that's the point, is that it's, we don't have
Safe places.
safe places to cross
Yeah, it's really dangerous.
some of these.
Really dangerous.
Yes.
So one,
The other side.
right, the other thing I haven't heard anybody mention, but the lack of fields for sports. That has come up a number of times.
pretty much what we talked about happening.
Just thought I'd throw it up on the board.
Good catch.
Great to have, it'd be great to have more landscaping and not, but you know, like in St. Helens, for instance, they partner with the garden club. And so the garden club maintains a number of things. It's great, but it'd be nice to once again, that strategic partnership to see other master gardeners or somebody. And it'd be great to have a community garden. I think it'd be great to have a community garden. We don't have a community garden for this town. Okay.
Senior Center have any?
We don't know.
I know they've done a lot of remodeling.
Right, I don't know. Lack of strategic partnerships, yes. Okay, fair enough.
those organizations starting to fail just because there's a generational gap. Aren't met, actually attended the community clubs meeting this week. We're getting down to just a handful of core members,
I know.
and that's the problem with those. Same with the garden club.
Yeah.
We're getting to where it's non-existent to take projects on. We have partnered with them. Totem pole used to be made. And now
Right.
they're down to only 1 or 2 of them, so our crews are having to step in.
Gotcha.
Starting to be able to keep up. I think that's a weakness. The fact that some of those organizations building unity, I think it'd be good to rekindle that or try to build strength.
Yeah, but it's been challenging. I mean, really, the only big win in that respect, in my opinion, has been the library. I think it's more endemic than that. I mean, I think it's a lack of volunteers. How about that?
That's the biggest one.
We can k- yeah. Is that a yellow magic marker? Isaac, are there any more of these magic markers or no? Good. Yeah, purple's pretty. Develop funding through grants. Grants would be an opportunity, creating grants. Pursue grants. Pursue money. Yeah, I mean, so like for instance, I'm working with the Audubon Society right now, and they are, wanting to really participate in a number of levels with the city. So finding partners that can, oh, sorry. Okay, fine.
Strengthening partnerships. Talked about quite a
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like all those weaknesses you use of and turn them into an opportunity. So I mean, it's yeah. Well, I mean, it's we go down all those. I mean, sports or we have an opportunity to yeah grow our sports and community through sports. I mean, again, that's just using my weakness. Nothing original, but I think yeah. I mean, yeah, I think that's a big opportunity. Yeah, totally. But no, I think, yeah, there's an opportunity to let out and have a big. Yeah,
Well, I will say, we've done several of these and things that we try to look at this range is what's available as resources for this community specifically, like OMIC, as JJ's mentioned, us and things like that. Those are the opportunities that we've targeted as staff is your local resources that aren't tapped into yet
Right.
for thought.
Yep.
yeah.
I think
Totally.
Well, and I mean, not to jump in again, but I have been working with PCC. Yes. Yeah, I mean, Audubon, I mean, I think having those, I think having some specific ones that I think are doable is really important. I think part of the challenge with parks is that we've blue skied a lot of stuff. And that disappoints people. So this is actually tangible things that we can do. Audubon, they both want to participate. And the Grand Ron tribes. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm currently working with Audubon, PCC, and the Grand Ron tribes. So they're all very interested in helping.
It seems like without like the big one, right, is are the ones we're talking about where it's like can't do any of these opportunities, the grants and the partnerships. So that's like the umbrella for the rest of these, but I think some programs, creating programs.
Yes. Yes. Well, I mean, I think some of the opportunities, because Dave's already working with, which organization does the native plant sale, Dave? Do you remember? Which which nonprofit does the native plant sale here in Scappoose?
Several. Scappoose Bay Watershed has a nursery at the high school.
Right.
Or Columbia Estuary.
Right. So I think working with those organizations to once again take out invasive species and put in natural plantings would be really helpful. That's a real opportunity. Developing usable habitat with partnerships. How about that?
Not really. We do both at the same time. Talking about strengthening.
Right. Yeah, that's great. Strengthening environmental footprint. That's great. That means trees over creeks and, developing habitat that encourages wildlife, bird watching, all of that. People love that.
Well, there's not much activity as far as promoting what we have. That would have to be through like maybe if you were promoting a particular park to do an art show or something,
Right.
or if we're promoting, maybe a little league tournament or a fall ball tournament where you can draw teams from out of our area to help our economy and create more activities, basically promote more business. I don't really know what we do as a community to, baseball program's kind of weak as far as it's two months and
Are you saying like promote business by promoting sports?
promoting sports, promoting shows, promoting, even like car shows or whatever you can.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting too. I mean, just a side note, Paul from Barlow Bikes, he shows up at every event I do. And, he's got his whole BMX bike stuff going on. And he's also with St. Helens Parks. So he would be, that once again, that's another business that would be a great partnership to get people cycling and doing all kinds of biking activities.
Promoting our community. I mean, it's got to be targeted. It's got to be a wide range of areas that you could target, but opportunities to use the parks.
I guess what
And-
I'm hearing is promote recreational opportunities.
There you go. Got the right words.
A few of these, but
I knew I'd get my point across.
Oh, Mr. Chairman, we need to make a motion to extend the meeting. It's past 7 PM.
you're
Yeah,
all,
we're 7:30 now.
Oh, 7:30, sorry. Sorry. You don't need it. Sorry.
Well, Scott already kind of mentioned is like, strengthening partnerships, opportunity to try to, well, tie in a lot of that stuff. If we can strengthen our partnerships, probably start gaining more volunteers or even maybe I'm not sure how we're gonna do is how we're gonna get a little more interested in helping out the community and maybe they can help do the cleanups on the, cutting grass or something somehow or trail cleanup, something that will alleviate this.
the general volunteers.
Yeah, just getting some, if we can promote it, like having the calendar, here, come clean up down at Conley, or come clean
Right.
up down at the waterfront. Yeah.
Dissolve.
Right.
It's all waiting for somebody to.
Oh, well, the other thing I was going to mention, so obviously I'm really effective with social media. So like with movie night and actually Earth Day, we did some promotion, but I bet 90% of it was social media. I mean, we have thousands of people following and I'm pretty good at engaging the public. Yes, effectively.
Social media is a great option.
Social media. You need more social media. Social media for parks. I mean, it's shocking to me how many thousands of people look at movies in the park. Yeah, we want more people. Opportunities, hire more people. Create more jobs. Really?
We're always gonna.
Right. I can talk to the chief.
Are there opportunities for the parks themselves? raise funds.
Your strategic partnerships. Well, what about the RARE program? Is that an opportunity for parks or no? Yes, that's great. Yep.
Takes getting more businesses here.
Is it just talking about, is there a revenue generating possibilities? Like that, yeah. Nick's shelters for birthday parties. Disc golf rentals. Bike rentals. TZ trail. Yeah. I would just call it, like generation. So. Yep. All those, I think all those would fall under revenue.
Yes, another question I have is I wonder. Yes. I wonder if one of those would be bringing in like the companies that do the electric bike rentals and stuff. I don't know if the cities generate revenue from that or if that's just a throwaway for cities.
And a lot of it comes from having a parks department.
Sure. It's all of it right there.
About, I think we're in a unique position right now. There's the 50-year plan going on. There's the parks master plan going on. How do we leverage that as a right now opportunity? How do we leverage the work that's being done in the master plan to prioritize projects and
I don't know that you leverage it as much as when that document is done, it's actually turning that. I'm just putting it.
Yeah.
And that's what the goal of this is to help that happen. Document.
yeah, a lot of that stuff is in there. Ha-
Patients.
So land donations, what about just donations to the parks? Do you guys accept donations?
I mean, yeah, all the great opportunity.
Okay.
Another opportunity for the reality of it is every home that's built SDCs. Those SDCs help pay for these new parks, so it kind of
Right.
is working. I mean, how
Yeah, housing growth. So I think another one. Promote more taxpayers. Promote more taxpayers. You know, I think another opportunity for parks would actually, if we had a formal performance area. I mean, we've got the gazebo at Heritage Park, but like, you know, in St. Helens, they've actually got a pretty nice setup for big performances. I mean, we're pretty constrained with that gazebo for doing that, but that's the type of thing that you could, if you had that, then you could, get musicians and performers to come down and do stuff.
I think you could broaden that to just exploring art opportunities.
Yeah, that could be it.
Strengthening event spaces. For me.
What about the getting some money from being able to get school lands if they're going to be selling those lands, building more schools?
do you have any school partnership?
Oh, or art opportunities.
What about a community center?
Senior center is a community center now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're using it for exercise classes, for types of exercises, and
Okay.
it's actually changed names.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Actually went there and ate lunch this week. Okay. Wife signed me up and I'll buy you lunch. So I'm part of the senior center
All right.
and they got a pool table, so I like to play pool.
I don't know, this is an opportunity, but I'm looking at that lack of parks citywide. And I know that the master plan has identified gaps in the community where parks are not serving. There are no parks to serve those neighborhoods. Now is the time to identify potential locations for parks, open properties, things like that. I don't know how the city is gonna or take that info from the master plan, but
Yeah, that exercise was done and there are parcels.
Okay.
Some degree. We don't know what. I mean, a lot of vacant land.
yeah.
Built out with left.
I can't.
What about developing a kayak launch at Chapman Landing? I mean, you know, being able to utilize that Multnomah Channel would be really fantastic. And I know that's a dream, but
No, I mean, it has its challenges. Yeah, islands are a challenge. Boat launch.
right,
The sewer outfall. Prime location. Just challenges.
right.
There's a good vertical ledge to get down to.
Right. Mhm. Yes.
Where are they at with the grant program for Grabhorn?
We haven't even applied yet until we get that design done. Now it's just something in everybody's mind that we know is a priority, but
And it's only got another year or so before you lose it? 2 years.
yeah, our goal is to be applying this spring. Yeah,
So you're using social media.
yes.
How can promoting our community be more utilized through social media? Who do you have that works on that and all together? I'm not a social media guy, but
I do it.
you do it.
I do it all. Well,
Can it be like connected to Park and Rec
yeah,
calendar?
sure. I mean, I
So a
haven't
calendar
really
could be, and
worked
you could
directly with the
actually-
city. Yeah.
You have your movie events, and what can we add to that event schedule
Right.
to expose Scappoose to a
Right.
wider group of people? That's kind of the same kind of situation I ran into with the recreation program. They basically sent me the letter and just shut me down as far as recreation opportunities. That kind of sounds like we're going to try and promote Scappoose. We've got lots of
Right.
issues that need to be.
Well, and we work with the library really well, and they're very happy with the stuff I do.
Right. I
Right.
understand. That's why I ended up taking the pickleball to St. Helens, because they could do it. yeah, there's nothing that we're promoting as far as recreation. If there is, it's through the school program, which I'm obviously excited about, if that bond passes and what they do with the middle school. There is no recreation program.
Right.
Yeah, there's apartment.
The Little League is a separate entity. Well, there's all types. I mean, like the pickleball thing, I wanted to get that going in this community and, there are types of sports, tennis, um, basketball, after school basketball programs. S- if you look at the St. Helens rec program, there's something going on every day. And they have after school activities for these kids to go and whether it be basketball or soccer or there is no, I mean, there's,
So I so now does the YMCA do any of that? That they're working with kids or? Yes. Right. So, another thing too that you could use with social media is to generate volunteerism. So that is a great venue to get volunteers. Yep.
I think one thing the city could do immediately with social media and, you know, they could strengthen the Crown Z and the benefits that that has to the city. Like they could throw out, come to Scappoose and connect to the 40-mile trail, and spend your day in Columbia County doing this and that. Uh, that could be leveraged right now.
yeah,
That's a real recreational opportunity that is a regional thing and not just within the confines of the citizens of Scappoose. That would yes be a social media.
Brian has tight connections with the bike people industry. And, I mean, there's probably 200 bike shops in Portland. And the Crown Z Trail would be a perfect opportunity to promote some kind of, 1-day event or weekend event or something and bring people out here.
Okay. Yep.
He fixes a lot of things.
Yes. Money works. I would say options. Huge. But I also think it's important to point out that um, you also have a lot of people moving from Portland to this area, and to some degree, the work environment has changed where a number of people that are high paying professionals are able to work a couple of days a week in the office and then work from home. And so that gives them a lot more mobility to pick where they live. And this is really attractive. You've got lower tax rates, you've got a lot of green spaces, and it's a quiet town. I think that's a real opportunity. All right, thank you. I got you. Yep.
Now you need
I need a motion. I make a motion to, thank you, Dave. I make a motion to extend the meeting for another 30 minutes. We have a second? Thank you. All in favor? I guess we're here.
Hopefully there's not many threats.
All right, go for it. All right. All right.
Streets were dire.
See, you can use that bottom part for threats. Don't use that bottom part for threats.
Use this hand sanitizer.
That probably works.
All right. You can do it at the bottom, or you can.
Across
Yeah.
the bottom.
Okay. Well, I think people have a lot of options for entertainment nowadays. So, for instance, regional arts theater groups are going bankrupt because people aren't going to theater anymore because they can watch TV. So there's real competition for their attention, I guess. That's a threat. Okay. Uh, many entertainment resources.
Available funding.
Climate change.
Time. Time. A lot of things.
Maintenance requirements.
Lack of people.
We, as the city increases in size, they want to have so many park spaces. But not a room because more room left over usable park spaces. Unless they're going to give up the housing. Catch 22 house here, but then that could be park industrial land too. You got there is a sacrifice on uh, who's in park space, I guess. Who's in future park space.
Frustration with, or not even so much frustration, but the lack of awareness of parks in Scappoose. And specifically, when I first moved out here, I figured every city had a parks. Yeah, I did. I just figured, of course they had to. And to find out that that didn't even exist here was a shocking. So the lack of knowledge that people, realize what a thin budget this thing operates on. Yes, lack of volunteer is a big threat. Lack of effective social media is a big threat.
About staying stagnant, not doing anything. I mean, I'd like to start seeing some stuff.
Absolutely.
Get done. I think
Yeah.
you just get moving.
Absolutely.
Everything on here is really great. I'd love to just start targets and knocking it down. Yeah, I think so too. Get it done.
Yep.
So is this gonna be emailed to us or I take a picture of it or?
Yeah, if we could get an email to us, that would be great. Great, thank you. All right. Thank you, Mike.
You're 3 steps ahead. You got back. Hold it. And then try.
No, but I think that was what social media was supposed to, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Right. Next thing we have is announcements. 19. Right. Anybody would like some.
Free food, yeah.
It's really pretty good. The Deer Island Range. Big fundraiser.
Can I say one thing? We had a number of meetings ago, Mr. Meisner came and talked to us about wanting somebody to explore his property to see what kind of potential it has for a Scappoose Park in the future. Something we can bring up maybe at the next one or the week one after that, so we don't go full calendar year without addressing him.
Do you think maybe what meeting we didn't review?
Yeah, it sounds like our next meeting is pretty full.
And then maybe the meeting after.
Yeah. I mean, I live like 2 doors down from him, so I could easily walk down there and talk with him, but I just wanted to. Yeah, sure.
Or it's a meeting.
Well.
Right.
Um,
It's off of Dutch Canyon Road, maybe like 1/10 of a mile off of Old Portland Road, Dutch Canyon. Yeah, he owns a number of lots on Dutch Canyon Road. One of them he has been planting with trees for years and years and years and years and years. It's a heavily forested lot that looking for ways to make it a benefit to the community. It's his time, so. It is one of our underserved locations based on the master plan work. So I just didn't want this to go and get lost. So talking about it next time or the time after that, set up who wants to go, and then
I think it'd be advertising.
I would suggest talking to him to see what his interest is from the city's perspective. He's never offered it. Talked with him a handful of times, but he has not officially offered that. So you're treading on a unusual circumstance.
He's just really cautious.
Master plan, we're talking about dollars too, we will kind of, those trade-offs might be, I know a lot of you are interested in costs of things. And I know we've all heard about that. So, that'll become, when we talk about that property, that'll be something council has to debate, because buying a new property or developing a park is really what's on the table. There's not an option to do both. There's not an option. There's not an option to develop Crabhorn and buy another property. We don't have the dollars in the park. So, I mean, we'll get more into that, but
I don't think this is finance.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Take two, but
I take one.
and you can, no, you can come to them. I know where you are.
Huh? Yeah, actually, you have to go to our office to get them. So there's two. Huh? Should come. Have to get it. Anybody else want anything?
I want them, but yeah, sure, two. One night I don't have to cook. That's great.
That's right.
thanks, Mike.
So what'd you think? First meeting?
A lot. Yeah, it was good. It was good. Yeah.